Tell them, girl. Woo! Love it.
All right. What a way to open the show up. What a way to open it. Thank you, Charles, for that. Yes, indeed. And good evening, everyone, and welcome to The Truth Behind the Truth. Indeed. Wow. Exciting evening tonight, guys. We got a lot of good things to talk about. Wow.
Oh, she stars on Power. Oh, that's your show.
Yeah.
That's your show.
Oh my gosh, I was gonna say about the Power ending. The season finale. Those of you that are Power fans, man, I had my mouth open last night. It was something. I wouldn't get into that, but let's welcome everybody first. All right, then we get on into our time because we got to stay on time tonight because we got the beautiful, wonderful guest tonight, Miss Tameka Anderson. We marketed this show to help you guys, okay, in terms of fellas. But ladies, of course, if you're dealing with the traumatic incidents of molestation and a part of your life, please chime in, put your comments in the comment section tonight. Let us hear from you, okay, because it's going to be a very powerful show, and we're probably going to make it even a continuation. So we talked to Miss Tameka about that as well, and she'd agreed to come back, and share more of that. We can't get into everything tonight. Right. But anyway, I want to tell you to like, share, subscribe. All right, like, share, and subscribe. All right. Yes. Support us. Definitely, please support us. Please. If you hadn't gotten a mug with us yet, you can order your mug. Order your mug. All right. Ways to be able to do that with likes and shares. You can actually send 5 in, and we'll give you a complimentary mug for your support. Or you can support. Why am I getting tongue tied today?
Talking is coming on.
In California, it's cold.
Well, it is a little chilly. Yes, or support us by purchasing your mug via sending an email to our TTBTT show at Gmail, and it's $13.99 right now.
Yes. All right.
So,
hey, Darnell,
how are you?
I am absolutely wonderful. This week started off as a doozy, with some not so great news family wise, but it's been blessed. Is all I can say.
Oh wow. I hear that.
Yeah.
Really? I mean, is it something that we need to be in agreement with you about? Some transitions or something?
So it was So my good brother Dale, his husband passed suddenly.
Okay. Sorry to hear that.
And yeah, it just came so fast and by surprise. So it started out crazy, but God is good all the time. So we don't never make mistakes. So all is well. What about you guys?
All right. Wow, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
but
we're keeping keeping y'all in our prayers. And,
exactly.
It's just then I always say it's a good thing that Jay. Every time death is mentioned, I always think of transition.
Right.
It's like it's a season that's happening right now. Season in not only in the weather but in life.
Right.
And we all want to go through a season of life and of death or transition. That's what I meant.
Right.
But it's just, my goodness. It's just it's so sad. Last year my grandma passed.
Right.
And that was the transition. Yes. And it was very hard for me to get over that. But it's just one of those things that you got to go through it because that's life. And that's one of the things that is so hard to grasp with, especially when you love somebody so much or you care for somebody, you don't want to see them go over into the next life. But we all want to go over into the next life.
I apologize, guys. I'm messaging people about the show and things like that.
He over here busy.
How we got to get busy. We want folks to watch this show. Okay?
But you know what? I really want to get into this topic because I know it's something that we didn't discuss in the meeting. But this seems to be all over the place. How do y'all feel about this situation with this Monique interview? What do you feel? How do you feel about it, Darnell? If you want to go first, you can go first.
Well, for me, it's just kind of like one of those things where the song was sung before, but this time when the song was sung, the facts were brought to the table.
Okay.
So she literally brought to the forefront, and it was just not only her able to witness it, she brought the receipt that therefore for others to be able to witness as well, and they attest to the fact that it was everything that she stated was absolutely true.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm sorry. Go ahead, John.
I think it's just one of those things that, like we were saying before, this is just a season of people being exposed, and people just got to do better. That's it.
That's right.
Well, you know, to be frankly, I mean, I've worked with Monique, you know, and I'm hoping that at some point we can connect to get her on the show. Not necessarily to talk about that stuff, you know, but have her on the show because I would really like to connect with her. I did have a lot of fun with her when we worked on Almost Christmas together, you know, and I'm very saddened to find out all of the things that has transpired since that time frame, you know, because it has created such a different mode, you know, for her, and you know, and it just makes a bad thing. Typically for African American people, you know, at this point. And right now we're in the middle of quote unquote celebrating the given American Black History Month. Okay, I say American Black History Month. Okay, and you know, and then we have this beef, you know, going on. Rather than saying to her, D.L. Hughley, and all the rest of them, they are people that are making Black history. You see what I'm saying? So let's not be making Black history month for the wrong reason, because anytime in which we've celebrated that, anytime that you're making strides in this community and doing something, whether it's in your home and your family or on a national front, I'm like, hey, Sandy, welcome. On the national front, you know, then be kind about that. You know what I'm saying? You know, work out a way. And if it's beef, settle your beef behind closed doors. We don't need to be hearing all that. You know what I mean? And then we don't. I know we got to go because we got a lot to talk about in this segment, because we got to be really time conscious tonight. We can't roll over. Go ahead. What's your next?
But I just want to say this. So from what I know, and because I saw it in real time, not from knowing these people, but from what had inspired.
Right.
You know, I always say when people are hurt, they have to find a way to to get it out. It's got to come out one way or the other.
Right.
In Monique's situation, I'm happy that she's in a better place. Okay. I don't think she's in a better place. I think she's gotten over that. Okay. I think with the interviews that she's doing, they're bringing this stuff up
again.
And and because they're bringing this stuff up, she's having to reiterate and retell her story.
Okay.
The thing about it is, though, when people keep asking the questions, I wish in some way she would probably say, I don't want to talk about it. But I think it's an educational situation, educational piece in the mix. Okay. I believe it's an educational piece in what she is saying, because I feel like most people who get in the entertainment industry or whatever industry that you love, and we are doing this show.
Right.
We're doing this show. Truth Behind the Truth. This is a show that me and Jay had produced. We did what we had to do to get it on Facebook or get it on whatever. And yes, it is hard. The industry is a hard thing to want to get in, but you're gonna have to catch a lot of strays.
Right.
In Monique's situation, a comedian, actress, whatever, in the industry, she took a lot of shit. And because of the fact that she took, there was a breaking point when they asked her to work for free for Precious.
Right.
At the end of the day, it was wrong that Oprah, whoever they did, whatever they said or did to blackball her, it was wrong. But for those who are sitting there and watching the interview and being entertained, you need to understand that if you're trying to get in whatever business you're trying to get into, there are people in this world that would take advantage.
Right.
As an educator, it's just they would take advantage of you. Yeah. And you need to be mindful that this stuff can only happen to Monique, but it can happen to you. It's happening to the average American every day. People are taking on jobs that are underpaying them.
Right.
Are they're being overworked, some of us, and we're not able to afford certain things. Right. And we're asking the question, why? Right. And you know what we're doing? We're blaming Biden, but we're not blaming ourselves because we are walking into a situation not owning our own shit.
Right. That's true.
At the end of the day, Truth Behind the Truth, this is an educational piece.
Right.
People. It is.
So true. Definitely so true. So and I get it, and definitely well said. And maybe at some point we'll get Sandy there to elaborate on about what it is being a comedian in this industry and what you have to kind of go against. But we got to move on because we got to stay on task. Like we got a lot to talk about. So moving on to the Grammys. All right.
Oh wow.
First off, about that, I want to celebrate Celine Dion. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, such a beautiful comeback, and just showing her appearance and all that. I don't know if I think we have a picture up for her at some point. It'll come up. But I just wanted to celebrate her, take the moment because, and all of the things that she's going through, and everybody's hoping and sending good vibes out to the universe that she's able to make a return to the stage in the capacity of being able to sing, Now, I do want to dip in bud real quick about the Taylor Swift and the little beef that went on about there. Allegedly, we saw what happened. Okay. Well, it wasn't alleged. That was true. Okay. That was true. However, the other side of that is that apparently she made up amends for the mistake of not acknowledging her when she came to the stage to get the award. Okay. So they did take care of that, off camera. But nowadays, if it ain't happening in front of the camera, people ain't gonna believe it.
Well, there's a big debate saying that she didn't mean to do it that way, but it so happened it looked so bad in front of the cameras.
Right.
But I also want to say, the Jay-Z situation was another social media situation too in itself about the awards and all this 30. We all know about. Album of the year is a very important trophy.
Right.
But, at the end of the day, it was so important for him to bring it up because of his wife's accolades.
Right.
Now, I want to also give credence to Fantasia because there, I'm proud of my girl. Darnell I know you're on the same boat with me with this because we are good fans of this lady. Yeah. Fantasia has come a long way, and I want to say that her version of Proud Mary and the tribute that, Oprah and them concocted was excellent.
Excellent.
Very uplifting, and the award show needed that type of performance. Go ahead, Darnell.
She did so to rewind back to the whole album of the year and all this, that, and up in the third. Personally, okay.
Don't say
so this is the thing. This is the thing. It's a thing. So the thing about this is this. And everyone can say, yes, Taylor Swift, she's great at what she do. She has an audience. She do this, that, all that she do.
Yeah.
It is a fact. He when he got on the stage, the same thing I stated on Wednesday, he did not state nothing wrong. That man got enough money that he could turn around and he don't never step foot in that arena again. It won't bother him not one time.
That's right.
She do too. So with that being said, it's just one of those things. It goes to show you that everything is always what they want, or whatever the case may be. As great as she is, the woman that she everything she touched turned to gold, and that's it. That's all. Moving on from that, when it go down to my girl Fanny, she's in her season, she's in her moment, she's in her time, she's winning right now. She did an absolutely amazing job. I think she brought this. I think that was the best thing that happened that night.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I agree.
And Joni Mitchell was good too.
Oh my gosh.
Oh wow. And Joni Mitchell and Tracy Chapman.
That
was very educational for music.
Celine was singing with a young girl.
I love it.
Celine was singing with a young girl, and I'm telling you, that voice, I don't care what she's going through health-wise, that voice ain't went nowhere. That thing still sounds good.
Right.
So we're gonna keep sending great vibes for us away.
Yeah, exactly. So much so. I mean, the Joni Mitchell piece was, and I love that song. I really, really love that song. And every time I hear it, it reminds me of Love Actually, because it was a very touching point in the movie Love Actually that it was in, in that point. But I love that song. Well, anyway, we got to get ready for a quick break here. When we come back from that break, we will be digging into the male talk tonight. All right, men helping you understand and go through the process of if you've been through a molestation fear, please put it in the comments tonight because we would like to address that for you. Okay, and we're just going to talk about asking some questions, how this evolves, where it comes from, and how you can possibly move on and deal with it. From that point. After we are through with Miss Tameka tonight, our brother Sandy will bring in you our political platform and what has happened this week in politics so that we can get rid of that damn Donald Trump. Okay. But anyway, we will be right back with Miss Tameka Anderson, guys. We'll see you in just a second.
Yes.
That's okay. All right, and we are back, guys. Thank you so much again for tuning into the Truth Behind the Truth tonight. All right, without further ado, I'm not gonna talk no more. All I'm gonna tell you guys, fellas, once again, and ladies. Now we're not isolating you from that particular point, but tonight, please put your comments in. Submit your comments. We want to hear from you. Yes. Okay, this is a very, very important show, very, very important topic, because it's something that men are dealing with straight across the board. You know, we suffer in silence. You know, and especially depends on what community you come from. Typically, the African American community, you really, really suffer in silence a great deal, because families don't want to deal with things like this.
Or the human community.
Or the human community. And I say that because, you know, because again, I'm dealing with the testimony of how we've seen it happen and what have you throughout that, typically coming a lot from the church arena. But me and Tameka are going to talk about that tonight. So anyway, without further ado, we'd like to bring back to the Truth Behind the Truth and welcome her in with a heart full of love from LA to Atlanta, because I think she's in Atlanta. All right. Welcome back to the show, Miss Tameka Anderson.
Hey, Miss Tameka.
Hi, how are we?
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm amazing. How are you?
Yeah, hey, good. I love that. The word of amazing. You know, what else word can it be? You know, what else can there be? You know, in the process of that. Gosh, I just saw something happen on screen. I was wondering what happened. Yeah, with that. Sorry about that. So yeah, guys, Miss Tameka, I mean, this is a powerful lady here, and then we'll get into a couple questions. Such a powerful lady. She is making strides in the family and personal wellness. I'm gonna say mental wellness, all right, because we're trying to get some people well, all right. But she has. You need to look her up, okay, guys, and because you're in Tameka, right? You're in Tameka. You're in Tameka, right? You're in Atlanta, right?
I am.
Yes. So are you doing anything? I mean, do you have an office at this point now, or are you still working kind of independently?
Do I have a what?
Do you have an office now that you're working through at this point in the Atlanta area, or is it more on one-on-one counsel? I mean, information basis, kind of contacting you through your other means, your website, what have you?
Yeah, like mostly through my website, because like the office that I do work out of, that's for my nonprofit. So
oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, perfect. Well, we're so glad to have you back, you know, with us tonight, and being able to share in this I think this moment of trauma. You know, I mean, it really is. It's a moment of trauma, not even only just the subject that we're talking about tonight, you know, involving around men, but just across the country, you know. And, you know, when people get in the middle of trauma, they get in the middle of denial, you know, and then we see a whole political party that's in denial. Okay. Complete denial. And I don't mean the river in Jordan. Okay.
Well, let me ask you this first question, Tameka. Let me ask you this. Do you think 2024 is the year of truth? Do you believe in that statement? Do you believe this year is a lot of truth that's going to come out in whatever format or entertainment or religion or whatever? Is it going to come out? Do you believe?
Yeah, I believe it. I see it in action. It's actually happening. We can actually see it happening, right? More and more people are becoming courageous enough to speak the truth. And I'm happy. I'm here for it. I've been speaking the truth since I was 7.
Yes.
So yeah, absolutely.
But you know, it's something to see. And you know, we were just talking about the Monique interview with Club Shay Shay or Shannon Sharp, and not only that interview, but there's been multiple interviews and public profile people are coming out, high profile people are coming out and speaking their truth. And you know, this I will say, you know, as a person watching this from you know, just from a standpoint of, I would say, being enlightened on one's life and seeing how their life has been shaped by certain situations. Do you think these interviews are going to help somebody at least, I would say, navigate within their own life? Because I don't try to be so entertained where it's all gossipy, and I try to find the enlightenment in it. Do you think this is all going to help somebody or guide somebody with all of this truth telling that's going on, you think?
Absolutely. The thing is, a lot of people, especially the people who don't want the truth to be uncovered, are going to gaslight. That's what they do. And so when the truth comes out, you have to make space also for lies, because that's what it is. The lie does not want to be exposed. The truth is not afraid. Anytime you see someone telling the truth, you're going to see someone who's lying that's going to scream louder, because a lie is afraid of the truth. Truth is not. Yeah.
Wow. Can you say that for the people in the back?
Yeah,
in the back
that
row?
one more time.
Can you share that with again for the people in the back row? Okay, because that is such a powerful point. Moving a little ahead in terms of what we're talking, we're going to go ahead and dig into a little bit more tonight. You know, where we are. So we see in the country, and in the church settings, which we'll kind of take that in stages of men. I think finally coming forward, dealing with their trauma, and dealing with their personal traumas. In your experience, with it going on in your counseling, how do we start helping people open up that Pandora's box for their life? Is it the comfortable environment? Is it just when they've been pushed, or is it through their mistakes? What do you think? Or how do you suggest that to people? Let's just say.
So, especially with trauma, I tell people all the time, you got to be really careful. This is one of the reasons why I always suggest trauma therapy. Like in my one woman stage play, it was amazing because I have a talk back, and in the talk back, I had Black men coming up to me, and they were just like, "Thank you so much. Because of you, I am in trauma therapy." And it's because when you have trauma, you need a safe space to release, to take the armor off, to unpack it, because that's what trauma is. Trauma is undigested life experiences, right?
Wow. Okay.
And so because you have this stuff, this thing happened to you, you weren't able to sit and process and digest it. There was no repair to it. So now you're just holding on. It's like you have this bag and you're just carrying it around everywhere you go, right? So now you're carrying this. However, you also have a society that blames you for carrying the bag.
Right.
Lady.
Right.
So now they're blaming you for something you had no control over. So what do you do with it? You just keep holding on to it, even though it's literally making your life so much harder. And
that's why it's so hard for, I'm so sorry for cutting you off, Mr. Tameka, but that is why it's so hard for rape victims or molestation victims to come forward, because people always blaming, pinpointing them that for something that they didn't have no control over. So that is so interesting that you said that, because I thought about, some situations with people that have came out and had made accusations, and there are the society that we live in. Well, what did you do? What did you say? What did you wear?
Right.
But that is so true. I'm so sorry for cutting you off. I just had to say get that out there. But go ahead, Mr. Meek. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. And that's the thing. And it's so true. We live in this victim shaming culture. And so, and it's mostly because most people don't know what to do with sadness. And instead of sitting down and having a conversation with someone and saying, "Tell me more about this," they would rather, "I don't want to feel that. So here, you just, maybe you wrong, maybe you did this." And so now if they can shame you, they can shut you up.
Wow. I like that scenario. In one of the things that we found that in this traumatic experience is that I want to say hate to say this. I'm just gonna say it like it is. Okay. Christianity has been the planet, what you and I have dogged about this before, but dialogued about that is that it has really shamed people into not dealing with themselves. And not dealing with what they have going on in their lives, and then, or is thrown under as saying, well, either you're possessed by some demon, or you're, and all these other type of labels that they put on people, and people get further and further and further in this hole, and they don't know how to get out of that hole. Let's kind of talk about that a little bit, and I know my mother-in-law always talk about this. Don't talk about the Christianity church because of the, but look, girl, it's the problem. We got to deal with it. Okay, just tell the truth about the truth behind the truth in that situation, and we see that is a problem. It is a consistent problem. Let's kind of dig into that a little bit real quick.
So a lot of people they hide behind religion in order to really be cruel to people, right? And so what they do is they're misrepresenting God. And so now they're misrepresenting God, what he stands for, who Jesus was. They're misrepresenting him in a way, and it's so loud. Remember, I told you, when the truth speaks, the lie has to try to cover it up louder. So it's yelling at you, oh no, this is what you do. And so now you have people, they're just like, they're jaded, and they're just like, no, I don't want it. I remember myself, I was abused severely in churches, like from younger on up until I was early adult. I didn't go to church for 10 years. Like, I was married. I married someone in the church. That church was we'll have to talk about that a whole nother day.
Right.
But
Okay.
it was horrible. It was a horrible experience. The good thing is that I actually developed a relationship with God for myself, right? And so because I developed a relationship with God for myself, someone else misrepresenting him is the equivalent of somebody coming to tell me something about you. I know you, so I know that's a rumor. I'm not going to believe that, right?
Right.
I always tell people, don't listen to someone else's account of what it is, because I always ask people, why do you go to church? I hear a lot of people say, oh, I go to church to hear a word from God. And I always say this the same way. Okay, I'm an author, right? You may have read my book. So me and you standing together side by side, somebody comes up and say, I want to know what Tameka meant on page 233. Are you going to ask somebody who read the book or somebody who wrote it?
Right.
And so because of that, you have to go to the source, because people are going to say whatever it is that's going to feed their agenda. And in the church, that's what has been happening. The church has profited severely off of oppression, off of lies, off of abuse. If they can have you feeling broken, busted, and disgusted, then you need them. That's what they think. And so they're going to do that and use those means to keep you oppressed. So that's why I always tell people, like, don't listen to someone else's account, have a relationship for yourself.
Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree.
Darnell.
I mean, so I was just telling someone that I'm a person that, and it's just like one of our listeners was saying, a hit dog will holler, and they will holler loud. As soon as you started speaking the truth to people, they want to overtalk you. They want to be loud and vulgar and all of those things, because they don't want the actual what needs to be said. Because then it becomes too much of a reality, So with that, we're seeing a lot of that right now, and that's what a lot of the other side of the Democratic Party is doing. The truth comes, and then there you go. They're wanting to silence the other party, because of, guess what? We don't want you to tell the truth about what we're doing. We want to keep everything on the hush, so the people can stay blinded to the fact of everything. So now, if we're blinded, they'll listen to the lies. They'll listen to everything that's said. Oh, this ain't been done. That hasn't been done. So they don't have to do the research, because they'll just sit and listen to the fact of, well, the border isn't being controlled, or Biden don't want to do this for the border, and he don't want to do this. And so it's exactly like Tameka said. Exactly like it. That's why I say, people, you have to do your research for yourself.
Exactly. Go ahead, Sandy. You got something you want to add to it?
Organized religion is a scam. When you take someone like Joel Osteen, who bought out what the hell is that big place down in Houston, and the guy's flying, has a private jet. I mean, there's just nothing right about that. People that need money are donating their last few pennies so he can live high on the hog, and other situations like that. And Tameka's right. It's just, it's so wrong on so many levels, and it'd be and not all. There are good people, but there's so many bad people that have contaminated it that you go, my goodness, it's horrifying.
Well, people honestly, what I'm finding is that people don't know what to believe, anymore. And what has happened, what has transcended from that community is that if you don't support like we've all been saying, my idea, then you're just a wrong person. So it separates them from any possible spiritual hope to get through this particular trauma, which we're talking about tonight on The Truth Behind the Truth. So people don't know how to go for the help to get, to get the truth. Thank God we've got, people like, Tameka that are out here now, but typically in certain communities, typically brown and black communities, we have not been able to see that because it's been a thing where you have been, that's taking it from the church. You've been marginalized by your own family. Okay, so you come to your family and say, Uncle, whatever his name, Uncle Jujak, we'll use that as an example, been touching me in private, and then grandmama or mama and them or whoever it is, that associate with, don't want to believe that Uncle Jujak was doing things of that nature. Now, we're not saying, okay, here's the thing. Let me be clear, okay? This is not an attack on LGBTQ, community by no stretch of imagination, because Uncle Jujak don't know how to handle his problems. Uncle Jujak is the molester. You see, Uncle Jujak is the one that has the problems, But being to the fact that the understanding level in the communities are not even having a true conversation with those that are part of the LGBT community. So when it comes to you, when it comes to them, and that person could be that way. It doesn't mean that they didn't experience molestation, at all, or a child, or even through some parts of their adulthood, So, in these family situations, which is a part of your expertise, when you have conversations like that, how do you go in talking to mama and them, and then tell them about Uncle Jujak and want them to confront the issue?
So one of the things that the families that I work with know is that I am not going to lie for them, to them, or about them. And that they understand that we have to deal with the truth. As hard as it may seem, we have to deal with the truth, because at the end of the day, you're paying me to help you get a result, right? I cannot help you do that if you're going to lie.
Right.
And so one way that I deal with it is, hey, how bad do you want these results?
Right.
If they come to me, they want pretty badly, right?
Okay.
And so I will say, all right, let's deal with everything. And usually what happens is everything unravels. It becomes a mess, as it does, because healing is messy.
Yes.
And so it becomes the mess and things come out. Sometimes, families can't handle it. And so they don't go through with the process, which is unfortunate, because it's just overwhelming. And that's part of dysfunction, though. Dysfunction only thrives in silence.
Wow.
So if we can keep this silent, we can continue, even though this is painful. This is a pain that we know and we're used to. And we're okay with that. We don't know what's on the other side. So a lot of unfortunately, a lot of families don't go through with the process. I will say that.
Wow,
real good, people.
As we go to break, that, and that's kind of the mode where we set the note for the show, because men do suffer in silence. And then, as what you just said, man, that is so good, man. Hey, put your comments in there. We'll be continuing on with Mr. Tameka. We'll be right back in just a moment.
Yes.
The ground. you call yeah. Call 844-55-STARZ. It's Junk Stars, baby.
Hey, my name is Thurston, and here I have my CEO, son Langston. We specialize in junk removal, dumpster rental, and demolition. So if you need junk removed,
call Junk Stars.
You need dumpster rentals,
call Junk Stars.
All right, and we are back, guys. Again, thank you so much for tuning in to The Truth Behind the Truth tonight. Man, we are just getting started, but keep it going, brother.
Yes. Now, Charles, bring up the comments, because I know people have been spilling comments, so we're going to go through them and see what they're saying. If you can pull up the comments. Okay, Blue Olive said, why is it okay for movie stars and doctors and lawyers to do the same thing and no one ever complains about that? Wow. Pertaining to what, Blue Olive? Can you be a little precise in that? I mean, we are Pacific.
Specific.
Yeah, I know. We're going through it because of the weather. I ain't going to lie to you. Okay, and Harold LaFall said, right, most people don't know what to do with sadness. So true. That is so true.
Absolutely.
And also Tameka speaking the truth. Yes. And that's coming from the nutritionist, the health mogul, who is going to be a mogul, Harold LaFall.
Yes,
but you know what? Going back, now we're discussing, male situations, male mental illness, or whatever that might be. Being a male in this world, in this lifetime, in this society that we live in, I would say the hardest thing, even though, Shaq brought this up in an interview some time back about being open, but being open with your significant other, right? Do you think, Ms. Tameka, that it is healthy for a man not to be open, not only to his significant other, but to people in general? Is it something that's been instilled in through us, through either what religion or society or patriarchy, whatever you want to name it, but is it healthy?
No, it is not healthy, because at the end of the day, we're all made and created for connection. I cannot connect with you if you're not open with me. And I can say, even for myself, I've had troubles in my relationships because the men that I dated and ultimately married were very domineering. They wanted to dominate and control me. I don't want to be controlled. I don't want to be dominated. Right. And so, but because of the society says a man has to be a man. Don't cry. Don't do this. Don't reveal your feelings. Don't. And that's ridiculous. I think that the biggest lie is that women are emotional and men are not. That is the biggest lie ever.
Exactly.
Because we all have emotions.
Right.
Not just women. We all do. And that's one of the reasons why men are suffering in silence, is because they're like, okay, well, what am I supposed to do with this? I'm not supposed to show it. So then what do I do? That's not true. And then if you find women who are buying into that lie, then they start to shame their partners.
Yeah.
If they start to show any sign of emotion.
Yes.
And that's not healthy at all.
Yes. So true. So I got some. I'm sorry. I was reading. Lost my thought. I'm sorry. Lost my thought there. The suffering in the silence like that, and I think that we've seen so many marriages, just fall apart because number one, you cannot be true. If you can't be true to yourself, you'll never be able to be true to your partner. Okay,
and behind the truth,
in whatever aspect, and it is true behind truth.
Yeah.
What can we, I guess, start in little tidbits to start encouraging? Typically, again, men tonight as to releasing that fear, and it comes from a place of fear because it comes from a place of wanting to be judged, not wanting to be judged, especially by the person that you're connected to, be it your wife or whatever. So, what is there a way that we can just start, maybe in our everyday life and everybody that's out there, if they have people in their world, to start helping them tear down these walls of fear, and be more of a transparent, open person?
Yeah.
And I always say the same thing: find a therapist. I tell people to find a therapist, especially men. The reason why it's important for a man to find a therapist is so that he will know what it feels like to be in a safe space with all of his emotions. Because
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tameka. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
No problem. Once he understands and learns what it feels like to be in that safe space, because the therapist is, a safe space as long as you find one that's safe, right?
Yeah.
Then he will know how to move through the world. And anyone who shows that they're not safe, he knows that that is not a person that he can, be open and vulnerable with, and ultimately not have them close in his life. But therapy is where it should start, so that you can get the baseline of what it look and feels like to have someone have an open space and safety for you.
Yeah. So, and that last comment that was put that up, Charles, that was so true to what she had put up there. Said all that unpressed emotion is going to come out in a negative manner.
Right.
But we're seeing that all over social media.
Right. Exactly.
People fighting in airports. Therapy is amazing. Yes, it is. People are fighting in airports. They're fighting everywhere because of unreleased anger. And that's the situation in our society right now. And it's really just rampant. Right. And it's just really crazy right there. But yes.
So in great explanation, right? So when you come across a person, and I'm speaking to everybody in general, in life, and that you see that there is a need for therapists, but they refuse to go. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? They refuse to go for shame. Is there something? And I'm not saying that everybody's a licensed, individually giving advice. No. But I think that if we all find our place of compassion somewhere within our own heart of hearts, that we're able to start helping somebody guide through that. And do you think that maybe trusting somebody that's connected to you as a way to begin to unload some of these things, even though you're afraid to deal with the therapist because of the stigma? How would you encourage somebody to be a listener for someone and that not necessarily judge their position?
Yes.
So we can all be listeners, right? However, there has to be a place where we have boundaries. We're not licensed professionals. We cannot hold that type of space. So that, because therapy is not just you talking to someone and then them listening. They're literally guiding you through the trauma. That's what they do. So because we're not licensed, there's a space that we can hold for someone, a very limited space. It can't be where every time you get into it with your boo, you calling me like, girl, oh my God. No, it cannot be that.
Okay.
What has to happen is, like I tell my friends, and my friends will tell you that I tell them this, go to therapy. I am not a therapist. I love your face so hard. However, go to therapy. Now, what I can do, I can hold space for sadness and other emotions that are just hard because life is hard, right? I can do that. However, if you have unprocessed trauma and you know that you need therapy, what I would do, I would ask the person why they don't want to go to therapy. And then we will get through it and say, okay, well, what is the issue? Why don't you want to go to therapy? You feel like someone is going to judge you for that? Okay, don't tell people you're going. Go in silence.
Exactly.
You know what? And that's so funny you said that, because I remember there was an episode. I'm so sorry if this is so random. It was an episode of Living Single when Queen Latifah's character was afraid to tell her roommates that she was going to therapy. So she put on this wig, she put on her sunglasses, and Jasmine Guy played the therapist, and she was walking in there like, she didn't want nobody to see her. But but when you said something to the point of therapists guide you in the process of the conversation, I thought about when Iyanla was doing her show, and there were situations where the audience or people on social media were thrown off at the fact of why in certain situations where the two people in the room where she was in the middle of these two people and they were talking to each other, either, for example, a mother and a son who were trying to get over their trauma, she was guiding them in a way of rewording the conversation. And many people thought, why is she doing that? That seems to be so off-putting, or so like she's trying to manipulate the situation. But when you said that, it brought me back to that place where I would hear those comments and say, well, I think she's doing the most appropriate job of trying to I would say remap, or just at least try to let's just say just guide the conversation to something that is better suited than just whatever it was going in, whatever direction it was going in. But I like when you said that, because that really put in perspective what therapy is all about. It is when we have a conversation and there's something that we might have a dispute about, there has to be a medium of somebody in the middle trying to guide us. So I kind of, when you said that kind of enlightened me to what Iyanla was doing in her sessions with people. But a lot of people didn't understand that. I think culturally, a lot of people didn't get it. But yes, that makes a whole lot of sense what you just said some prior back. So I that was something right there.
So let me ask this, and I know our hours are getting quicker. So
yes.
From a clinical standpoint of view, okay, where do we find, or where do you find that the chemical imbalance happens in the brain with a lot of people? I know that gets really into the psychology side of understanding how our brain works. But out of the portions of people that are out there, do you think a lot of the issues are more clinically inclined, or is it just because of the experiences that people have?
Well, trauma changes the brain.
Yes. Okay, good. Wow, that's good.
It makes you gain weight too.
Listen, it didn't help me then.
Okay. We just said, so trauma changes the brain. Go ahead.
Trauma changes the brain, but so the good thing is, so does healing. Right.
Okay.
So although trauma changes the brain, where you're more hypervigilant towards threats, and it's hard to be present because you're always trying to look for something, that's going to threaten you again.
Right.
It changes your brain. And so that creates the mental illness. Just like if let's just say, a child came and they wiped their nose and then they touched your hand and you wipe, that's what happens. You become ill because now you have been exposed. Trauma exposes you to the mental illness, and that's really what happens.
Wow. What's the, I know we got to wrap this part up, and we're going to continue because as we get further and further, we get ready unpacking so much more. I just want to jump this real quick. So, and I'm sure in Atlanta as well, and of course out here in LA, we see a great deal of it, that homelessness, okay, and what we're seeing in communities that's growing. Number one, of course, because we say the government is not doing their part into addressing those issues with the mental problems that are out on the streets now. When we find, say, a loved one that has kind of drifted in that particular direction, how do we reach them? You know what I mean? How do we? And a lot of it, I think it comes through like drug abuse. I mean, and they always say, "What is a good smoke on marijuana supposed to clear up the brain?" I don't think so. I think it kind of leads them into another category sometimes, But what we do see in the streets nowadays is a lot of homelessness dealing with because of people running to drugs, and things like that to escape from the trauma, escape from these problems and things like this. As a society, that just takes, I know I'm like all over the place with this question, but where do we kind of fit in with this to be able to help us understand these people with these type of problems? Just before we go back.
Yeah, so like we do need to make, and there are places, let me just say this, there are places where they have a lot more mental health professionals that are readily available. I know here in Georgia they do. They're really, really good about it. But we need to make it more available to them, because everything starts from our mindset. And if we had trauma has impacted our brain. Now we are doing things and behaviors and trying to cope. And now we're compiling. So now we're having complex trauma. So all of that is going on. And so that's what happens. So usually when things are going on in your brain, your finances are going to be affected. And so then that's the trickle down effect.
Wow, and you know what? I hate to end this.
I know, right?
This
we just want to pick your brain some more.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, guys, Mr. Tameka has agreed to come back and join us again. We'll let you know whether it'll be next week or the next week to come, and share some more.
But just come on back. We welcome them. Come on.
She knows she welcome. This is her home away from home.
Yes, please.
But we really thank you for taking the time out tonight. And as we can say, there's just so many layers.
Yes,
and audience, we encourage you to submit to us through our website to get the questions prepared next time, a little bit more, that we can get a little bit more detail on that. We're gonna let Tameka real quick before we go to break, just mention about how everybody can reach you, okay, and seek your services out and benefit from what you're doing and helping these different communities. So go ahead, take that real quick.
Yeah, so I literally just started my YouTube channel, and it's called PTSD, and it stands for Parents Trying to Stop Dysfunction. So they can find me there. I'll be there weekly, and all of my links and everything are there. So
so Parents Trying to Stop Dysfunction.
Invite us on this show, please, because we have a lot to say on that subject matter.
Yes, we do. Anyway. But again, honest, we will let you guys know when she'll be returning with us. Again, we're going to continue this conversation, especially this month, because we're focusing on that, and bringing the challenge to you to help you get yourself better. Okay, that's what we want to see. The truth behind the truth is we want to see you heal. That's what our platform is. That's what we speak week to week about. That's our mission, and that's our goal, because we love you and we want to see you be better in many, many ways. This is one way that we definitely can start doing that.
Yeah,
Mr. Tameka, thank you so much for being with us tonight. We love you. Sending your hugs all the way to Atlanta and all that great stuff. Guys, we'll be right back with our brother Sandy talk about our political persuasion on This Week in the News. All right, Tameka, we'll see you soon, darling. Love you. Bye.
If you need a pickup, call Jugstar. Yeah. If you need a dumpster or demolition, call Jugstar. Yeah. Call 844-55-STARZ. Jugstar. It's Jugstar, baby.
Hey, my name is Thurston, and here I have my CEO, son Langston. We specialize in junk removal, dumpster rental, and demolition. So if you need junk removed,
call Jugstar.
You need dumpster rentals,
call Jugstar.
All right, and we are back, y'all. Thank you again, everyone, for tuning in tonight. It has been a wonderful night, so far.
Yes, and Charles, pull up those comments, because we got to see what people are saying out there. Please pull up one, one for me.
And also, we want to put our email address up there too for you.
So, for Miss Yana, if I'm pronouncing that wrong, I'm sorry. Trauma causes chemical imbalance in the body, and when you're experiencing healing, it changes you mentally and physically, and that is that's powerful. That is the truth. Is there any more? We'll totally be back. Thank you for this form. Oh, okay. Great. Come on back. Come on.
Definitely glad to hear it.
Yeah.
All right. Man, you got the flow. Let's talk about some Trump-looking.
Yes.
Well, one of the things that Tameka was saying that ties into all this and that we forget about is a lot of things are based on the truth. Problems start with the truth in two ways. Right. One is someone telling you the truth. So if you're a kid, are your parents telling you the truth? Is your brother or sister telling you the truth? Or your teachers telling you the truth? And you don't know. And if they are telling you the truth and you don't know how to accept the truth, then you've got that problem. But if they're lying to you and then you don't know how to act because it's a lie. So when you get a leader like Donald Trump, who was in office, who was going to be elected in 2016 and got caught and was out there with that tape where he says it's okay to grab a woman by the genitals and that's acceptable, then there's 40% of the country that thinks, oh, that's okay. That's the guy that I want to be my president. So now you throw the whole system out of whack and you go, well, if that's okay, then what the hell am I, how do I exist in this world where that's acceptable? So let's get to politics. And there's so much that went on this week. There's no way to get it all in. Trump actually had a good week. He got a lot of decisions in his favor. The Supreme Court looks like they're headed to not take down this ruling by Colorado. The things they said were heinous and terrible. You know, they're in the Constitution, it says in order to be president of the United States, you have to be 35 years of age. Right. And that's a fact. And that's in the Constitution. And that's what we call self-executing. So if a 25-year-old said, I want to run for president, then the Constitution says, I'm sorry, you have to be 35, come back in 10 years. So now the Constitution says, if you are part of an insurrection, you are not eligible to hold office, to run for office. But now they're saying, well, you know, that's not self-executing. Oh, I see. So this statement was self-executing. You have to be 35. But the fact that you're an insurrectionist, that's not self-executing, which the Supreme Court, and there he is, that scumbag. And, you know, we should understand that it is self-executing. The Supreme Court, they don't want problems on their hand. They don't want to see riots. They don't want to see anything. But that's what the law is. If the 40% of the country disagrees with this decision, that this guy was an insurrectionist, and the Marjorie Taylor Greens go, it was just another normal day. And we're calling these people heroes, or that putting them in jail is, they're not insurrectionists. They were hostages. We put them in jail. And I go, that's just, everything's wrong with that. So Trump had a couple of victories this week. I doubt it's going to help him, propel him to wins. Eventually, he's going to face the music one way or the other. And more, we should understand this guy is not mentally well. And for you guys who are Black, and me, who is a Jew, Trump wants to crucify all of us. He wants to put Black people in jail. He wants to put LGBTQ people in jail. He wants to stop the situation where these people are crossing the border. That deal was done. Don't do it. Let me solve it. So the Republicans who have been begging for a deal, and Biden's called their bluff and said, okay, I'll give you your deal. They didn't even pass their own deal. So it's so terrible. It's so out of whack. And then you get back to Tameka and that discussion about people not dealing with trauma. The trauma is happening on a national level to us as a country. And
That's
people,
truth behind the truth.
How are you possibly going to deal with a small problem when the big ones are coming at you hard and fast, and you don't know where sanity is?
So
it's just it's heinous. And you know, you guys were talking about the Grammys. It's a week old. All the stuff that happened. I respectfully disagree with most of what you said about almost everything. My wife and daughter went to the Grammys. I thought the show was, you know, look, all these award shows to me, they're just, it's jerking off on the biggest level there is. Let's all congratulate ourselves and give ourselves. And Jay-Z went out there and he wanted to defend his wife. Hey, how can she get all these awards but not Album of the Year? And I get as a husband and as a friend and as a collaborator, but is there a place to do it? I don't know. But is there any place to do it? But you want to complain. So that's his truth behind the truth, you know? And I was blessed in that I married the woman I married. Her father, Ron Miller, wrote a song called For Once in My Life. We got a call several days before the Grammys. They wanted to, Tony Bennett had passed away. He had a big hit with Stevie with For Once in My Life. And Stevie sang it at that awards. And to me, that was the big moment for me, because I got to see my father-in-law's song sung, and my wife, who fought for 16 years to get that freed from the slavery it was in with the publishers and had been given away. And so they had to call her to get her permission, and she gave it, and Stevie sang it. But honestly, and I love Stevie, what an incredible talent. He looked like he was off his game. And Stevie has had liver issues. And if you listen to his voice, you go, wow, you just hate to see people, you know, grow old and whatever's going on with him. You know, I've never seen him be off like that. And it was sad for me, but that's what happens when we get old and stuff like that. So,
gotcha. We got to wrap, bro.
then a lot went on, and look, we got a Super Bowl tomorrow, and all this stuff going on. And America, there's 100 and something million people or billion people around the world that are going to watch it. Maybe something can pull us together and go, let's all get on the same page and be nice.
I know that's right.
Probably Taylor Swift will pull us together.
I know that's right. Well, guys, thank you so much for being a part of the Truth Behind the Truth tonight. It's been a pleasure, and we will be back with you again next week, same time. If you're dealing with trauma, face it. Let somebody help you get through it, okay? Yes. And be the better person for you first, so you can be better for somebody else. Amen. All right? Absolutely. Have a wonderful night. Thank you for tuning in to the Truth Behind the Truth. Good night.